I am the girl gardener and this is my cottage garden. I don't live in a cottage, it's just a cottage garden and it's 5 years in the making. So I have a bunch of these lupins that I need to get planted out. I did show them to you previously and I was like, yeah, I'll get those planted out, and then I didn't. But we've just come out of the 2-week Easter break, so the kids have just gone back to school today. It's the 28th of April, so I'm going to get all of these planted out. So this one was given to me, that particular lupin. These ones I bought from B&Q. There were 3 for £10. I bought 3 of those, 2 purple, was it 2 pink? 2 pink and 1 purple. And then the rest of them I've grown from seed. A lot of them are still too small for me to plant out. They'll get eaten by slugs, so once they're bigger I'll plant those. But these ones are going to go out in that direction just there. You can see my current lupins are just over there, and I'm going to just add more to it. But over here, I'm just going to show you my asparagus. Here it is. So this asparagus bed or area, this was already here when we bought the house, and we didn't actually know it was here. It was just come spring it started coming up, and we've got it coming up again, which is absolutely brilliant. So I couldn't tell you the variety or anything like that, but I do enjoy eating asparagus. So that one's gotten a little bit long, but these particular spears are ready to harvest, so a little handful. So that's that one. So the first lupin that I've got here, I had that before I bought this house. So before we bought this house, actually. It was when I still lived in my masonette and I had a balcony garden. And I grew that one from seed. And so, yeah, I grew that one on my balcony, and then I just kept it in a pot, and we moved a couple of times because we were just saving up money to buy a next property. And yeah, I just kept that the whole time. And once we bought this house, that was probably one of the first things that I planted up. No, actually, the first things that I planted out was a cherry tree and a pear tree. And then I put these from the pot, so that stayed with me. So I'm really, really proud of that. And obviously you probably can tell by now that I really like lupins. So I've got these two left, and I'm actually going to plant them in a different part of the garden. I'm going to put them by my greenhouse because I did have a lupin planted there, but oh, it died. So here is the greenhouse, and it was planted right here in this gap, but it is, as you can see, no more. There's nothing there. So I'm just going to put these two in that space. Hey, Garfield. You okay? You okay? You're snoozing. You're snoozing again. Yes. It's too warm to be sat right next to me, you know. And your fur is so thick. Like, I just can't imagine how you're keeping cool. No scratches. Hey. Oh, look at me, look at the camera. He wants some cuddles. Aww. You okay? No, belly scratch. You want a belly rub? Or is that going to annoy you? Yeah, I've got soil on my hands. This is the next job. I'm not sure if you can tell heads or tails of it, but I actually have a rose arch here, and it's just one of those cheap kind of £10 arches for this beautiful pink climbing rose. I don't know what the rose is called because when we bought the house it was already here and it had been chopped down quite a bit, so I didn't know whether it was a bush rose or a climbing rose, so I just kind of let it do its own thing at first, and then once I figured out it's a climbing rose, I knew what to do with it. But the arch is broken. It's kind of rusted from the bottom. I'll show you. It's sort of just rusted from the bottom. That's one of the posts, and the other one is just there, and then it's fallen off. And it's done that from both sides with the weight of the roses. So I need to figure out a way to fix this, sort out all the roses, so it just nice and tidy, you know. at this point, I went into the shed and I found a few little bits and pieces that I thought might help me repair this arch. They're actually just metal guarded stakes that you use in edging and things like that. And I used them in another project and there were a few left over. So I decided to try those out and see if I can try to secure this a little bit better before I find a more permanent solution. I'm sorry, but I did not press record properly on my phone when I was doing the rest of the arch, so none of the remainder of the footage got recorded, but this is what it looks like once it's been fixed. So that's what it currently looks like. I have managed to fix it. It's standing upright. It's very sturdy. I've tidied up a lot of the roses. And yes, Garfield. I've just opened a pack of food for him and I've just given him some food. He's eaten a little bit and decided, I want more food. There's not enough food in that bowl. And that's why he's at my feet moaning at me. But he has fresh food. He's not starving. So anyway, I've tidied up a lot of the roses and I think it looks great. I know it's not easy to kind of pick up on camera. But yeah, I think it looks great. And the moral of the story is just prune when it's time to prune. Just do it on time. At the moment, I'm in my vegetable patch area. Got the polytunnel just here. And this is the area where I grow pumpkin, squash, all of my sweet corn and also sunflowers. And I'm just tackling a few weeds and bindweed that is coming through the soil. Now initially when we bought this property there was quite a few things going on here, but there was a lot of Spanish bluebells, which are these ones here that you can see. They're gorgeous, but they do take over very, very quickly. And we were told that you've got to remove these because they're very invasive. And so we did. That's bindweed, by the way. And of course, once we removed the Spanish bluebells, we were overrun with bindweed. And that was a complete nightmare. It was like the spaghetti junction under there, if you know what that is. So after digging for about 2 seasons, I kind of got it under control. It just took using a fork and just churning that soil and trying to pull out as much as possible without breaking the roots. And whilst it's fairly easy to manage once you've got control of it, it can be more difficult to remove from areas where you've got established plants because the roots run under those. And of course the fence line as well, where it's just coming underneath and I've got to try and dig it out without breaking the roots too much. But as for where bindweed actually originates from, it comes directly from hell and straight up into my garden. Sometimes you just can't help. They just break. But if you can get as much of the root as possible, it really helps. Like you can see, that's part of the plant. All of this here. And this is the root. I mean, they run very far along the ground. And they can run 3 feet deep under the ground as well. Just don't leave bits of roots in the soil if you can help it, because they will just create brand new plants. You can compost these. What I tend to do is just leave them on the side for a few days to die out, and then I put them in my compost bin. I'm not sure if you can see very well, but I have this gorgeous, beautiful Sambucus black lace that I planted here, and you can see that it's already growing right up along the stems. And it just twists its way up the plant, and bindweed has no trouble doing that and just choking out other things if it's given the chance. So I'm just going to remove all of this and just leave it to the side for composting. I have completely cleared the plants that were growing around the Sambucus black lace, which is an elderflower, to give it more room to grow properly. The greenhouse is not looking too shabby, although there are some things that are crying to be planted out now. Those sunflowers are getting very tall. They need planting out, and unfortunately, a couple of my cucumbers decided to just die. So We do have plenty more, thankfully. I also picked up these gorgeous oxalis from the garden centre. I went in, I follow my local garden centre on Facebook, and they do updates when they get new plants and stuff, and I've always wanted one for myself, so I also picked one up for my mum and my mother-in-law, so like when I'm next round I'll give that to them. And I also picked up, because I saw them advertise it, so I wrote a list of what I wanted. The most beautiful, I'll show them to you, hold on. Absolutely stunning, stunning, stunning. This is a rhododendron. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just look at those colours. It's like a peachy kind of pink peach, absolutely stunning. And this is, oopsie, an azalea. Can't remember the variety on that one. Rosa, I think it is. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And they were very reasonably priced. They're quite big, and they were only £8, which I think for what they are is a brilliant price. I normally like to buy things in the sales or whatever, but when you get such a gorgeous specimen, I mean, let me just put it where it's not being distracted by anything else. I mean, look at that. It is an absolute beauty, a stunner. And the pot size, let's see if it says the pot size on there. Oh, it doesn't say it on there, does it? Hold on. And when I bought these before, sorry, I'll try not to show the freezer in the back. I'm defrosting it, and then I'm gonna clean it and put it back. And because it's a hot day, it's just easier to let the sun do the work for me while I carry on gardening. When I saw these before in the same garden centre, they were £90, and it was a much, much bigger one. But it was £90, so of course I didn't buy it. But I mean, for £8, I mean, it's an absolute bargain. It seems that when it comes to gardening, I am either early or late for garden jobs. There is never a comfortable in between, and that goes for my potatoes. I'm always late when it comes to planting out my potatoes. These are my first earlies, and they should have been planted out weeks ago. I can't say that I'm very good at growing potatoes. I always end up with maybe one large potato and the rest being medium to small, if anything. So this bed has been pre-prepped with grass clippings and well-rotted horse manure. I'm also adding a small sprinkling of fish blood bone for added nutrients. Usually when I grow potatoes in a bed or in the ground, I do trenches, but this time around I'm just digging a hole and popping the potato in each hole, and I will earth them up as we go along, as this particular variety is an indeterminate variety which will need earthing up. From what I've read on the internet, that is. So since I put these beds down, I've been adding things like some wood chips, grass clippings, homemade compost, and just last autumn I added lots of well-rotted manure, and all of that has created this beautiful, well-draining soil. I mean, I'm watering it and none of the water is just pooling around at the top. It's beautiful. I'll just show you. So you can see the water just doesn't sit on top at all. It's absolutely beautiful. Some of the strawberry plants didn't make being taken out and transplanted back in again. I think that's maybe 2 plants, but the rest have done really well, so I'm very pleased with that. I also have these, which I need to make sure I plant out this week. So I have some gladioli, beautiful purple and a light pink. Sort of light pink with more of a cerise pink on the edges of the petals. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up because the sun is quite bright. We have these gorgeous liatris. I bought 3 packs of them. And so these are going to be planted out as well. All of those are going to go in this border, which I know looks a real mess right now. It doesn't look good at all, but yeah, we're working on it. And these are just going to be dotted around as kind of like little space fillers. But I'm going to make sure that I get all of this done this week. It is now Friday, the 2nd of May, and I can finally put away my indoor growing setup. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. I hope you're enjoying the video, but if you are an OG, then you will have seen me do a video around, say, 4 months ago of me showing you my whole setup, getting the shelves out, heat mats, grow lights, etc. And that just feels like it was yesterday. Now I can pack everything away and give my patio windows a very good clean because I don't need it anymore. The next time I will be using another indoor setup is probably December. This shelf will go back into my unheated greenhouse where it was previously. Got some seedlings here that haven't worked out very well. These were some melons, and I mean, to be honest, some of them did germinate, but the growth was quite weak. And then on one of the days I went out for the day and they dehydrated, and that was that. And again, I don't know what these are, but yeah, they didn't work out so well, so I'm just going to get rid of those. I need to make a little bit of room because this is where this shelf is supposed to go, just along here. But I've got a couple of citrus plants, and then I've got some trays of my sweet corn and stuff like that, so I'm going to need to move them out while I put the shelf back in and then find somewhere to put those ones, because we still may get a frost. In my area, the last predicted frost is between the 1st and the 10th of May, so I don't want to be too hasty in just kind of shoving everything outside just in case we do get another frost. So I'll have to kind of squeeze things in a little bit. So my son showed me this hack that he saw on how to get rid of zip ties off things without having to cut the zip tie, and then that way you can reuse the zip ties. I'm going to see if I can try and do it. I don't know if, oh, hold on. Ah. There it is. Works. Great, now I can reuse these. And I can just put these back in the shed and reuse them again. I think it's a brilliant hack. So I kind of shuffle a few things around because there's some items that are like down the bottom and they're not getting much light at all, so if I move them on this side they'll get a bit more light. I think I will remove the bubble wrap as well, the insulation, since we're not going to need it now, but I'll remove it once I've planted everything out. So once I've emptied the greenhouse, yeah, and everything's gone out, I'll remove the bubble wrap, I'll just fold it up and put it away, and then I can plant the tomatoes in the greenhouse. All I do is take these grids out, plant the tomatoes along the planting areas, and they'll just grow straight through. That's the plan. that wraps up this week's video. Another late upload. I know, I'm sorry, but with the half-term Easter holidays and then the bank holidays and all of that, I've just not been able to take the time to finish editing the video, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Please feel free to leave a nice comment, a like, and do consider subscribing if you have not already, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. I really shouldn't say so much. I don't know why I'm saying so much in this video.